Today we are having the second part of a two-part dialogue with Tonya and Taylor Debnam. They are two members of our congregation, and they are bringing forth their experience and their ideas about racism. This has been a powerful series with Tim and Tonya and Taylor, and altogether it makes enlightening conversation. I hope you'll join in with the self-exploration of what it is ours to do and how we might address this situation spiritually. Thanks for watching.
Yes, we are back here with Tonya and Taylor Debnam and Reverend Neusom. Conversation was great, and we just felt that there's something else that needs to be said. And it feels that the more we know, the more we understand, the more willing or open we get to, first of all, transform ourselves, and then from that place be open to what it's ours to do. It just almost feels, I know it might be a big claim, but it feels like this is a time and we are the ones. How do you feel about that?
I think that it's very much true. I tell people, I was like, well, this is the whole reason why I'm here. And that is to stand up for justice, to not be silent anymore, and to speak the truth and to change energy. I have so much love. I don't even know really what hate feels like. The closest thing I have to hate is liver. I hate liver.
Me too.
But I would say that I can't imagine the burden of carrying around hate, every day. That's a heavy burden for anyone. That's not joy. That's not happiness. So, to be able to be a part of transforming that energy, I feel like that's what we're here for.
And I feel like we have to take it upon ourselves to try and, make it a better place for ourselves and for the next generation and generations after that. Because if we don't take it upon ourselves and say like, the next generation will have it, then everyone's going to keep putting it off. So then it never gets done.
As I'm looking at you, Taylor, I'm thinking, what would it be like to know that your children will just hear about it on history books, hopefully, but it's like this, we are just a colorblind society, It would be great, as I'm thinking right now, you're about to turn 17, probably you'll become a mom maybe 10, 15 years. And just to know that it's just part of the past.
Yeah.
Would be a beautiful dream. It's like the Martin Luther King dream realized.
It would be great if it was a part of the past, but also I feel like being colorblind and not seeing our differences isn't really a great thing, because we have to see each other's differences and we have to acknowledge them and, live in peace, because I feel like if you don't see who people are, then you don't really know who people are. You don't know about their heritage. You don't know about their ancestry. And it's good to, know that, other people went through some stuff and their ancestors did too. But we just have to come together and accept our differences.
There's beauty in our differences, right?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I will say this, Taylor, there's so much pressure, as you were alluding to, that your generation will fix it, which I think we're going to have to move it up to an older generation, because we're the ones that really can fix it, because we have the power now, right. We have influence now, and y'all are just coming into your own. And so, Tonya, I think it's up to us.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. And I had this conversation with Taylor about 18 months, two years ago, and I cried. It was emotional. I felt so overwhelmed with emotion because I apologize. And I apologize again to my daughter that I didn't fight enough to create a better world for her. This is not where I wanted her to roll into her adult life with dealing with race issues. And I felt that energy way before all this is happening right now, that we were not going to go, we were going to a positive way. And I had an emotional moment, and I apologized to my daughter that I didn't stand up and fight enough for the next world that she would inherit.
But I must say, still, you've been a great mother,
Thank you.
and you've given her a lot. So I get it, and that's good, but don't overlook the fact that you have given her a lot, especially the opportunity to know herself as a spiritual expression of the divine, which is our greatest gift.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
You had quoted somebody from the Nazi. What was it that was really like poignant?
Well, I had quoted, is this Martin Nehemiah, and I probably pronounced his name incorrectly. I am not German, but I changed it to look at America. This is when he was dealing with Hitler, and so he wrote this poem, and he said that, and I'm changing it to make it Americanized. He says, when they came for the indigenous people, I did nothing because I was not indigenous. When they came for the African Americans, I did nothing because I was not African American. When they came for the Japanese people, I did nothing. The Japanese Americans, I did nothing because I was not Japanese American. When they came for the Mexican Americans, I did nothing because I was not Mexican American. But when they came for me, there was no one there. And that is such a true statement because, you know, all of us need each other. That's how we get there. We get to a better place. But being there for each class of people.
Yeah. You know, Tonya, when we were talking before, you were saying that you had thought this was a spiritual battle, not really just a legal or sociological battle, but a spiritual battle. And you talked a little bit about this idea that what we see in another is what is true in us. Do you want to expound upon that?
Sure. I actually think about you, Neusom, because you've had several lessons on Hoponopono. And in one of the messages you said that, you know, the things that we see in others is really, really within us. And it just reminds me of when I was about 6 years old, when we would play outside. And somebody would say something like, "You got a big head." And it says, "Takes one to know one." So that was what I feel Hoponopono is. Takes one to know one. So as we are dealing with, you know, presidents saying thugs, takes one to know one. Or we're talking about the super predator, takes one to know one, is really the truth. So that as we are hearing people say these things out publicly and they're saying it about other people, it is really within them. That's the truth.
Yeah, you know, coming back to Ho'oponopono, that practice is really the practice of seeing the crime or the thing you don't like to see in the world is actually has a seed inside us, just the same, almost exactly the same. Maybe it hasn't out manifested yet, but it's in there, and we can recognize it because it is in us. That practice of asking for forgiveness, or asking essentially this mental virus to be taken from us, is so powerful. You brought this up, and I thought, you know, it probably is. For those of us who are, especially those of us who are kind of quarantined and have limited access to the world right now, that is a powerful way of changing the world from your own living room. Do you think it'd work?
I feel very certain that it will work. I really feel like this is all about spirituality and changing energy. And I think we have the power to do that, whether that's through prayer, community prayer. And you know, we've had this conversation about the critical mass.
Yes.
You know, we are the critical mass.
We are the critical mass.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that is, we are the ones that are going to create the change, lead the change, even with the, you know, the people that were dealing with slavery, that, what were you call them? The ones that were fighting against slavery, the white people that were fighting
abolitionists.
Abolitionists. I'm sorry, I lost that word for a second. But the abolitionists, they weren't the majority of the people. They never have been the majority of the people, but they made a lot of change in the world.
Yeah.
I was just reminded when you're mentioning the critical mass, and this is an actual experiment of the 100th monkey. These monkeys who were in a Japanese island, and they would eat sweet potato, and the sweet potato had sand. And one day, one of the monkeys figured out that by rinsing the sweet potato, it would taste better, and he started teaching that to all the other monkeys in the area. Until it got to be 100 monkey, and all the other monkeys in the other islands were doing the same without having met those, having been in contact with those monkeys. It was somehow through the spiritual level, the energy level, the consciousness level that this transformation was happening. So everything we do in ourselves sooner or later will impact the world.
That's right.
And we cannot overlook that. It doesn't matter what we do externally, it matters our inner social action just as much.
That's right. Yeah. And that reminds me of the split atom experiment. That's about consciousness too, because the way that the atom would go through was different when you're watching it. So just being able to
By observation,
the energy goes different ways.
Yes.
So the critical mass, even though they may not be in, from North Carolina, we may not be in California, whatever we do here affects the people in California and vice versa. We are all affecting each other.
Exactly. So it's really key that us that are really, really into our spiritual path, and that have come to know that these are truths that what we're saying to actually do our part, because it's critical.
Yeah, and basically to start by owning your own own prejudice. Own that now. Own that, and then you can start working on it. If you don't own it, you can't deal with it. Really, you're only pointing your finger.
That's right.
We have a link to the Hoponopono practice, how you can learn that. It's a talk I did one Sunday a long time ago, but it's been replayed quite a bit. So we'll have that up for you.
It's on SoundCloud and Unity of the Triangle page.
And anything else you want to say? Any like appeal or exclamation point you'd like to put on something?
Well, I think that, the thing is that we all have a role to play. I mean, some people see all of us as a player in a play, and we all have a role to play. And just know that no matter how small or how great you think, we all are part of the change element, and we all must play our part if we want to see a different world. And the place that I feel like we want to be is what the Buddhists would call nirvana. That is a place with no suffering, where there is love all around you. And that is where humanity, we really want to be. And I feel like we can get there, but we need each other. And we'll all get there together if we can let go of the negative energy and transform it into that of love for each other.
As a way to just add that last period to what you just said, I was just taken to the Saibaba core message, which is to know that the true religion is the religion of love, and the true language is the language of the heart.
Yeah.
And that's bottom line. That's what we all striving for.
Yes. Absolutely.
So,
well, thank you for being here. I've always appreciated the two of you, and I think everybody's going to get a chance to know you a little bit better through these things. So I just feel honored and proud that you're here. And Anna, thank you for being yourself, which is a lot. So so we're now in this phase of awakening. This is the subject that we're on, which is how to be at one with everyone, and to see past our differences to our oneness, while not negating the fact that we have our own uniqueness. This is a spiritual quest and a lifetime of work can go into it. May it go easily for you. May you be willing to know that which you don't know. And may you be a healing force in this world.
And so it is.
So it is.
Namaste.
Amen.
Yes.
Again, I'd like to thank Tonya and Taylor for their contribution to the dialogue today. Their openness with us is a gift. One of the things they said in the dialogue was to practice Ho'oponopono. We have a link to Ho'oponopono on the website. If you would, please click on that if you don't know what Ho'oponopono is. If you do, let's begin practicing. We want to bring the whole world into our hearts, and this is a beautiful way to do it. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next week.